Do you feel that people are too stressed?
Oh, yes. I think most people don't orient themselves to enjoy themselves. Americans don't enjoy life. They're just on a treadmill. I fell in love with my husband while I was married to the first husband. We had an affair, and one day I got a telephone call that the plane my husband was on crashed. So we were married 3 months later. I got what I wanted.
Okay.
In this video, I'm speaking with Dorothy Wiggins, a 99-year-old on the cusp of turning 100, who also happens to have over 300,000 Instagram followers. She literally just might be the oldest influencer in the world. Dorothy's story has lots of ups and downs, especially when you think about it over the course of 99 years. Today, she'll be sharing some of her best life advice for someone of your age, her biggest mistakes, and also some truths about life that I guarantee will blow your mind.
How old are you?
I'm 99 and a half. I'll be 100 in August.
Wow. What does it feel like to be 99 and almost 100?
Ridiculous. I don't feel chipper anymore the way I used to. My body isn't quite behaving like it used to behave.
Yeah. When do you think that started to change? The more the body, I would say.
In my 90s, early 90s. Up until then, I was playing tennis all the time.
For you, at this point, at 99, what does it mean to just still be alive and living?
I have a curiosity that has not subsided. I'm still very curious about everything that's going on, particularly today when the world is going to hell in a handbasket with Trump. And every day brings more and more dreadful news, and each day I'm a news junkie. So each day I wake up looking at the newspaper and listening to the television. I'm constantly curious about what's happening. So I don't think about dying because I want to know what's going on.
Oh, yeah, you want to keep learning about it.
Yes.
Is turning 100 a big goal for you?
No, I never dreamed about it. My husband, he and I were very, very much in love and very close to one another. And he lived to be 100. He died 2 months after he was 100. I miss him terribly.
What do you think you've done in your life to get to be 99 and still be the way you are?
I try not to get aggravated, and I have a positive attitude, and I try not to let things bother me. Most stuff that happens, I let slide over me, and I think a lot of people get aggravated about life. I orient myself toward pleasure. I always have.
Do you feel that people are too stressed?
Oh, yes. I think most people are stressed all the time, and I think most people don't orient themselves to enjoy themselves. They're too busy thinking about making money or whatever. We should be happier than we are. Americans don't enjoy life, most of them. They're too busy trying to make money or trying to pay for rents that are too high, or medical expenses in this country are just really bad, and so people have too many problems. They're just on a treadmill.
You start making videos. I mean, this is how we found you. We noticed a 99-year-old woman with 300,000 followers on Instagram, and we were kind of blown away at that fact. You decided, from what I'm understanding, making social media videos around 97?
Yeah, well, I didn't decide. My dear son, who loves me, and I love him so much, he knew that I was totally devastated when my husband passed. He wanted to keep me active and give me something to do.
He passes away a few years ago. He turns 100. You were together for how long?
62 years.
Wow. Was that your only marriage?
No, I was married before, and I fell in love with my husband that just passed away while I was married to the first husband.
Okay.
So we had an affair, and then he said he wouldn't marry me. He didn't want to break up my marriage, so he went down to Washington, and I stayed up here and mourned him for 3 years. And then one day I got a telephone call from American Capital Airlines. The plane my husband was on crashed.
Wow. Were you happy about that? Sort of?
Well, so...
I mean,
but anyway,
sort of, yeah.
What can I say?
Yeah, all right, no comment, yeah. So you get back.
So we were married 3 months later.
Wow. And together wow, crazy. For 62 years.
Yeah.
How do you spend 62 years with somebody and have a happy marriage and talk about them the way you do? A lot of relationships fail. In fact, most of them
I
do.
know.
What's your secret sauce?
Well, he was my Prince Charming. He was the dream come true. I'm a very romantic person. I read fairy tales until I was 13, and he was like the Prince Charming that came into my life. I had a vision of the man that I wanted, and he represented everything I ever wanted in a man. So I was totally in love for 62 years, and we was very much in love and did everything together. And I was devastated. Half of me left when he died.
Mm-hmm. I heard my grandmother say that when my grandfather passed away too. What was it about him that you loved? I mean, like, what are the qualities and the things that make 62 years feel like nothing?
Well, he was, first of all, brilliant, and he woke up every morning quoting poetry. He had a most wonderful nature. He never was angry. We never had a fight in 62 years. He was always in a good humor, and he was brilliant, witty, urbane, a good dancer. He was anything that you would want in a man.
Can you define the word love for me?
Can I define the word love? That's that's a hard thing you're asking me to do now. It's an all-consuming to your whole body. It's that you just want to be with that person all of the time. And no one else really matters.
You said you met him when you were already married, and you thought about him so highly even when you were married. What was it that you knew about your second husband that was just so much better than what you had with the first?
Well, I was just a kid when I got married. I was 21, he was 20, so it was just crazy. But in my day, if you weren't married by the time you were 25, you were an old maid. It was totally different. When you graduated from college, that's what you did. You got married. So I didn't have any qualifications. I didn't have anything. It was just, you just did it.
Right. So you learned more about what you wanted and stuff, and then he came along.
Yes, and so he represented all the things that I deeply cared about.
When do you think people should be getting married?
Oh, I
this point?
don't think they should get married until they're 30, 20, 28, 30, something like that.
How come?
Well, because it takes that long to really zero in on the kind of person that you would want to spend the rest of your life with. When you're young, you haven't got a clue.
So if I'm listening to this and I'm single, or I think I'm not in the right relationship, what should I be looking for when I meet someone that gives me an idea of whether or not they could be the right person?
Well, I think their intellect. I think the intellect's the most important. Because after all, you don't have sex every day after you're a certain age. So you have to have something else besides sex.
Right. You're 99, turning 100, so you're born 1925.
August 14th.
In order for someone to understand who you are today, what do we need to know about your childhood, how you were raised, and that life? I
had a very happy childhood. I was in an era when I went out the door in the morning and played out in the street, and there was always a bunch of kids outside, and my parents never huddled over me, and played out in the street, played all kinds of New York City games.
This year, how old when you're playing these games? Like
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Can you believe that was 90 years ago?
No.
If I said that too, is that crazy? And you remember it like it was yesterday?
They say you remember things that long past more than you remember yesterday, but my mind is still in pretty good shape.
Was the world safer back then?
No, I don't think so. I think that's what today's parents have told their kids. I think there's no difference in people's behavior. There weren't more people arrested for pedophiles or whatever. I don't think there's been any difference. I don't think there's more crime today. The only thing there's more of, I will say this, there's much more. We didn't have any homeless when I was young. There was nobody on the streets, nobody.
And you grew up through the Great Depression.
And I grew up through the Depression.
And there were no homeless people?
No. So they were all put away in my day, so you didn't see any creepy people in the streets.
Do you think that growing up today is easier than it was growing up when it was your time?
Oh no, it was much easier in my time. The parents today have ruined the kids, the helicopter parents, including my own sons, the way they brought their children up. You should teach your children to be independent as soon as you can, because they'll grow up to be independent persons and be more successful in life. Children have to learn from an early age to make their own decisions. And the way the parents bring up their kids today is disgusting. They keep them, they're infantile, the children.
Do you have a good relationship with your parents?
Yes, I did.
When you think back to advice or things that they told you, is there one that has stuck with you your whole life?
Oh, many. My mother was filled with good advice. She used to say to me, good things never last, and when you find a good thing, take advantage of it. She said, always have friends younger than yourself. And I've done that. My friends are all in their 60s.
Why did she say that? I've only heard the opposite, actually. Have friends that are older than you.
No,
Why?
Because that keeps you young. If you sit around with people your age, most of them are losing their hearing or their sight, or they're talking about the illnesses, and younger people keep you young. All my friends are in their 60s.
Would you say that's a big reason why you're still as active?
Probably, of course. They invite me out all the time. I'm going, as I said tonight, to a jazz concert in Lincoln Center.
Speaking of parents, what is the best advice that your mom ever gave you? Mother's Day is coming up, and it's the time to treat the women who are always on the go, always juggling work and family and everything. If your mom likes these interviews, she likes listening to music or podcasts, consider getting her Raycon's Everyday Earbuds. Their latest model is better than ever, with a 32-hour battery life and multi-point connectivity that lets her pair with 2 devices at once, so she'll never ask you, hopefully, for Bluetooth help again. Now, my personal favorite part of them is the active noise cancellation. I actually love using the earbuds when I'm at the gym, in a noisy coffee shop, or on the plane. And if your mom is not liking her Raycons, they offer a 30-day happiness guarantee return policy. No questions asked. Go to buyraycon.com/Sprought to get 20% off site-wide. Brought to you by Raycon.
So I'll circle back to the social media thing. Your family decided when your husband passed, it would be good for you to have another purpose and to be making social media videos or just be distracted, I guess. Maybe from the reality.
Right.
But I've also heard, we read some articles about you that you don't like social media.
No, I don't. I never look at it. He has to show it to me from time to time. He comes in and I'll say, what did you do?
Yeah.
I find that superficial too. It's ridiculous.
Do you think social media prohibits people from being pleasure-oriented? Do you think it's a good tool?
No, I think it's a bad tool, because I think you should be doing. I think people who sit flipping through those things is deadening. They should be out looking at the sun, or walking, or dancing, or doing something. I think just being static is bad.
Yeah.
I think it's very deleterious.
It makes it easier to compare yourself to other people, and a lot of people get caught up in that.
Well, that's bad.
Did you spend most of your life, or any part of your life, caring about what other people thought of you?
No. I'm very strong-minded, obviously, you can tell that. And
Yeah.
and so I think that other people have no relationship to me, and I don't give a rap what they think about me. I've always been that way.
But why do you think people care then?
I think most people are dull, so I don't really... I would care what my family think of me, or a friend. I wouldn't want to do anything to hurt the feelings of anyone I know. Yeah. But as for people in general, I couldn't care less.
I have a journal here with a couple of self-reflection questions that I would just love to ask you a few of them. What is a big mistake that you made, or a big regret that you have, that taught you a valuable lesson in life?
I can't think of anything, because, see, I don't brood. So if I've made a mistake, I don't remember it. I don't think I can answer that. I don't know what mistake I made.
Is there anything, if you could redo life, you would have done differently?
I'm sure there are lots of things that I probably did, but that's part of my secret, is I wipe away anything. If See, I wouldn't be a happy person if I would keep brooding about what you just asked me.
100%. There's a lot of people who are unhappy in life, unsatisfied. For the person who is younger than you, who is unsatisfied and wants to live a more fulfilling life, what can that person do to get a little closer to figuring out what that means and what that looks like?
Well, I think you have to follow your heart. I think sometimes people have a sneaking desire to do something, but they're too timid to do it. And I think you have to be strong-minded and decide if there's something that you get a kick out of, that you feel want to do, that you do it. I think so often people have a sneaking hidden desire to do something, but they don't do it.
Yeah. And what if you say like, oh, but the money, or but what people will think about me, or but this, or but that?
Well, the people thinking about me, that's ridiculous. As I said, I don't think you people should worry about what other people think. I think people would be much happier if they listen to themselves.
And you have a lot of friends, or you've probably seen a lot of people who get older and have regrets.
That's another thing I do. I surround myself with happy, witty people. I don't want to be around people. So the people that I surround myself with have done, they're mostly artists of one kind or another, singers or actors. Or
The people you surround yourself with, that might be the secret in the end. If those people are happy and they push you, then it might be easier to go for it.
You know,
the same values and that motivate you to.
Well, yes, that's very important. I mean, I don't know why people would bother to have friends if they didn't have the same values. You're wasting your time.
At the end, would you say that there's a secret to living a long, happy life?
I think the secret is to follow, as much as it's possible, to follow your heart, your dreams, and make them come true, and have the foresight and the attitude. And of course you need the money in many cases to make them come true. But I think you have to be oriented and activate yourself to do it, and plan to do it.
Yeah, I like that. Just take the first step and then figure out everything else later.
Right.
If you could go back in time to your, say, 25-year-old self, so you'd be my age right now, and you know everything you know about life, but you could tell her one thing, what would you say to her?
I wouldn't do anything different.
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I went after my husband and got what I wanted. I have no regrets.
Yeah. What about to a 25-year-old in general?
Try to follow your dreams. I think everybody has dreams, and to try to follow them and make them come true.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dorothy.